There's something deeply wrong with KATSEYE, and the more you look into it, the more disturbing it becomes. On paper, this should be one of the most successful girl groups of this generation. 6 insanely talented members, a massive Netflix documentary that pulled millions of viewers, a debut that broke records, and just recently, Grammy nominations that should have cemented their place in music history. But instead of celebrating, fans are terrified. Instead of trending for their achievements, they're trending for controversies. And instead of thriving, the members themselves have admitted they're barely surviving. So, what went wrong? How does a group with literally everything going for them end up drowning in scandal after scandal? Some fans say it's sabotage, others think it's incompetence. But what we found suggests something far more calculated and, honestly, far more sinister. Because when you start connecting the dots between the Grammy accusations, the exploitation concerns, the unaddressed rumors, and the company's deliberate silence, a pattern emerges that's impossible to ignore. This isn't just mismanagement. This might actually be the strategy. Let's start with what the members themselves have said, because their own words paint the clearest picture of what's really happening behind the scenes. In November 2025, all 6 members sat down for a BBC interview, and what they revealed sent shockwaves through the fandom. Every single member confirmed they've been receiving thousands of death threats. Not dozens, not hundreds, thousands. And these aren't empty threats either, because the situation has gotten so severe that the girls have been forced to completely abandon social media just to protect their mental health. The members described their current reality as dystopian, specifically referencing the ranking systems that fans have created, which pit the girls against each other constantly. Every post, every performance, every appearance gets dissected and weaponized. The members can't defend themselves without making it worse, and the company won't defend them at all. So they're just stuck, absorbing wave after wave of hatred with no protection and no escape. And the threats weren't just digital. Fans circulated claims that someone had filed a false report against Lara attempting to weaponize immigration enforcement. While this was never officially confirmed by the company or major news outlets, the claim spread widely enough that it caused genuine fear throughout the fandom. Whether verified or not, the fact that fans believed it could happen shows just how vulnerable these girls have become. But the threats from strangers online weren't even the worst part of what they were dealing with. In April 2025, KATSEYE released a track called Gnarly, and it became their first song to chart on the Hot 100 success, right? Not exactly, because just a few months later, between July and August, a producer associated with the track came forward on social media claiming the song contained audio sampled from adult film content. HYBE never confirmed or denied this claim, but the accusation alone was enough to spark massive outrage across fan communities. Fans were disturbed by the implications. If the producer's claim was true, it meant members of the group, including a minor, had unknowingly performed this track at public events, and that raised serious questions about the company's vetting process and whether anyone in charge actually cared about protecting the group's image or the members' comfort. The silence from HYBE in response to these accusations only made fans more suspicious that something had genuinely gone wrong behind the scenes. But Gnarly wasn't even the only musical disaster KATSEYE faced. Their performance of a new song called Internet Girl at a Minneapolis tour stop became an internet-wide controversy within hours. Once clips started circulating, people said the song felt incoherent and directionless. Many fans argued it seemed designed specifically to provoke rather than entertain, with some even suggesting it was a rage bait track that would go viral for all the wrong reasons just to keep the group's name trending. And that's where the real frustration lies. KATSEYE has insane stage presence, incredible vocals, and the kind of charisma that should make them untouchable. But instead of giving them music that matches their talent, HYBE keeps throwing them these bizarre, controversial tracks that alienate fans and make people question whether the company even wants them to succeed artistically. Every release feels like it's designed to shock first and entertain second, and fans are exhausted trying to defend music they don't even like. But just when everyone thought the controversies couldn't get any more intense, the biggest moment of the group's career arrived, and somehow, it made everything worse. November 8th, 2024, should have been one of the proudest days in KATSEYE's career. The Grammy nominations were announced, and the group received 2 massive nods: Best New Artist and Best Pop Duo Group Performance. This was supposed to be the moment where all the hard work, all the struggles, all the criticism finally paid off. But within hours, what should have been a celebration turned into an interrogation. The phrase HYBE payola started trending almost immediately. Thousands of posts flooded social media with fans speculating that the nominations were influenced by industry connections rather than earned through merit. People pointed to Scooter Braun's involvement with the group and questioned whether HYBE America's relationships within the Recording Academy played a role. None of these accusations were confirmed by any official source, but the speculation spread so rapidly that it became impossible to separate the achievement from the controversy. And here's the thing, even fans who wanted to celebrate felt conflicted. Because when your discography is full of controversial tracks that alienated large portions of the audience, it becomes really hard to convince skeptics that prestigious industry recognition came from genuine respect rather than corporate influence. One comment that went viral summed it up perfectly: "They got nominated for a Grammy and I still feel bad for them." That's how twisted the situation had become. An achievement that should have elevated the group instead made them more vulnerable to criticism. The Grammy nominations didn't protect KATSEYE from scrutiny, they intensified it. Every defense fans tried to make got drowned out by suspicion, and the members themselves couldn't even enjoy the moment because it was immediately tainted by doubt. The nomination should have been proof that they'd made it. Instead, it became just another controversy in an endless cycle. But while the industry was questioning their success, something far more disturbing was happening on stage, and it involved the youngest member of the group. Yoonchae is 17 years old, and from the very beginning, her styling has made fans uncomfortable. At first, people tried to give HYBE the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it was just a few questionable outfit choices. Maybe they'd tone it down as concerns were raised, but instead of listening, the styling choices only became more revealing. And by the time the Gabriella era rolled around, the line between confident performance and questionable presentation had completely disappeared for many viewers. Halloween 2024 became a flashpoint. Yoonchae appeared in content wearing a form-fitting red bodysuit, and the backlash was immediate. Fans weren't upset because they oppose bold fashion. They were uncomfortable because this was a minor being styled in a way that emphasized her physique for public consumption, and no amount of empowerment framing could change how inappropriate that felt to a significant portion of the audience. Then came the Gabriella choreography. Clips of performances and dance practices spread across social media, and fans expressed serious discomfort with how explicit some of the movements appeared when combined with the revealing outfits. While international fans raised concerns about age-appropriate styling, Korean netizens had a noticeably different reaction, with many praising Yoonchae's stage presence and athleticism. That fundamental disconnect in how the same content was being received showed just how complicated this situation had become. And if the producer's claims about Gnarly were accurate, that would mean Yoonchae performed that particular track at public events, including the Kids' Choice Awards. The pattern couldn't be clearer to concerned fans. Increasingly adult concepts being applied to the group's youngest member with seemingly no consideration for age appropriateness. But she wasn't the only member whose treatment by the company raised serious questions. If Yoonchae's situation showed concerns about styling choices, Manon's situation revealed how the company handles unverified accusations. And what's happened to her over the past year has become one of the most discussed examples of corporate silence in recent memory. In November 2025, an anonymous Reddit post went viral containing serious accusations about Manon's past behavior in Switzerland. The post made claims about bullying, manipulation, and other alleged misconduct during her teenage years. None of these accusations were backed by verified evidence. None were corroborated by credible sources with real identities. But that didn't stop them from spreading like wildfire across social media. Within days, these unverified claims were everywhere, discussed in forums, quoted in comment sections, used against her in every conversation where her name appeared. And HYBE's response? Absolute silence. No statement addressing the rumors, no clarification about their validity, no public defense of their artist. But fans noticed other patterns too. In July 2025, Manon appeared to be missing from certain group promotions, leading to widespread speculation about why she seemed less visible. Some fans claimed they saw images where she appeared to be positioned differently or edited out, though these observations were never officially explained by the company. The Netflix documentary also sparked intense debate. Some viewers felt the footage showed Manon being isolated or treated poorly by other members, while others argued she simply seemed to struggle with the intense training schedule compared to her groupmates. The fandom split sharply on interpretation, with some accusing the other members of exclusionary behavior that they felt had racial undertones, while others defended the girls and suggested Manon's work ethic was the real issue being documented. Regardless of which interpretation was accurate, one thing remained undeniable. HYBE never addressed any of it, and that pattern of silence raises a disturbing question. Why won't they defend her? The answer might reveal something much darker about how the company actually operates. Here's the uncomfortable pattern that fans have slowly started to recognize. It's not that HYBE doesn't know how to protect KATSEYE, it's that they consistently choose not to. Because when you look at the timeline, when you see how every single controversy is allowed to spiral with zero intervention, it stops looking like incompetence and starts looking deliberate to many observers. Unverified allegations against Manon, no statement. Concerns about age-appropriate styling raised by thousands of fans, no response. Death threats severe enough that all 6 members had to abandon social media, no public acknowledgement. Producer claims about inappropriate audio samples that sparked international backlash. Complete silence. In June 2025, photos circulated of the group with Scooter Braun at Disneyland. Given that some fans had accused Braun of supporting political positions that conflicted with statements the group had previously made about Palestine, the images sparked immediate backlash. The company could have addressed the contradiction or provided context. Instead, they remained silent and allowed the controversy to burn while the members absorbed all the criticism. Because here's what many fans have come to believe. Controversy generates traffic. Scandals keep a group's name trending. Every time KATSEYE is involved in some new situation, their name floods social media timelines, their videos rack up views, and algorithms push their content further. From a purely business perspective, why would a company deliberately kill that engagement by issuing clarifying statements that might end the conversation? One fan observation went viral. They're not failing to protect them, they're choosing not to. And once you see the pattern that way, the company's behavior makes a certain cold logic. The refusal to clarify rumors keeps speculation alive. The decision to continue controversial styling choices keeps people talking. The complete absence of damage control keeps the group perpetually trending. It's a strategy that keeps KATSEYE visible and viral, but one that forces the members to absorb all the emotional and reputational damage while the company reaps the engagement benefits. And that approach is taking a devastating toll. Let's go back to where we started. It's so dystopian. That's what the members themselves said when describing what it's like to exist as part of KATSEYE right now. And they weren't being dramatic. They weren't exaggerating for sympathy. They were telling the truth about what it feels like to be young women whose own company won't protect them from the chaos surrounding them. These aren't celebrities complaining about mean comments. These are artists who can't safely exist online anymore, who've had to cut themselves off from fans, from feedback, from any sense of normalcy, just to survive the constant barrage of hatred and threats. And the scariest part? There's no sign it's going to stop. Every controversy makes them more vulnerable. Every silence from HYBE makes the next wave of criticism easier to launch. So, the question everyone keeps asking is, how long can they last? How long can talent carry you when your company's strategy seems to prioritize viral moments over your well-being? How long can you keep performing, keep smiling, keep pushing through when the system designed to support you appears to be choosing engagement over protection? And honestly, nobody knows the answer. KATSEYE has everything a group needs to succeed. They have the talent, the stage presence, the global appeal, the fan base. They have everything except the one thing that matters most. A company that clearly demonstrates it values their long-term well-being as much as it values keeping them trending. And until that changes, the members are left in this exhausting cycle, achieving milestones that feel hollow, receiving recognition that feels tainted, and wondering if their dreams were worth this price. What happens when being talented isn't enough? KATSEYE is forcing us all to confront that question, and the answer is more unsettling than anyone wants to admit.